Hi, my name is Dan Marantz, and I'm a realtor with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services in Westerly. I'm also the founder and creator of Westerly Waves. Today I'm sitting with Sue Jaquith, who is the president, and Greg Plunkett, who is the secretary of Neighbors Helping Neighbors. Sue, Greg, welcome.
Well, thank you.
Nice to be here.
Nice
Thank
to
you.
be here. So, Sue, I'd like to ask you a couple of questions and start with you.
Okay.
How did you get involved with Neighbors Helping Neighbors, and what is Neighbors Helping Neighbors?
Well, I'll start with what is Neighbors Helping Neighbors. Neighbors Helping Neighbors is a nonprofit group that came out of a faith in action group at St. Andrew Church. In 2012, we became a nonprofit. And the reason we became a nonprofit was the volunteer work we were doing. We realized the need in Rhode Island, South County, was so great, it couldn't be met with just a few volunteers twice a year. You know, we would do scheduled weekend support. And when the need for home repair was so evident, we decided to try to incorporate as a nonprofit to involve the greater community in helping the homeowners in South County. And what we do exactly is we do free home repairs. Home repairs, I shouldn't say free because they have cost, but at no cost to the homeowners that qualify. And what our qualifications are people need to be low income, you know, and we use the HUD guidelines for what is low income. And they need to be residents of South County, Rhode Island. That's our area. And if they have a need, we want to keep them independent and able to keep their homes.
What type of repairs? I mean, is it roofing, siding, windows?
It's all of that.
Putting a new kitchen in for somebody?
It's not cosmetic. We are very careful that our funds are truly used to keep the home safe and to keep the home comfortable, habitable, and safe. So, for example, someone may think they need their walls painted, but we do a site survey and find out the reason the need to have the walls painted is the roof is leaking. So we rely heavily on our site surveys to really determine what's needed to keep the home safe according to code and really ultimately to reduce homelessness.
That's great.
In South County.
Mm-hmm. Greg, how about yourself? As the secretary, what is it that you do for Neighbors Helping Neighbors?
Well, I haven't actually worked on a job site per se, but I do a lot of background work that needs to be done, a lot of communication with our members and people who have donated money, and try to do the things that are necessary to make the projects happen.
Okay, and the projects, do they happen quickly? Is it something that somebody can call you up and say, we need new windows, and tomorrow they get new windows?
Well, most of the time it doesn't happen quite that quickly, but there have been a couple of emergency situations that we've dealt with where a couple of years ago when we had heavy snow, an elderly woman was having difficulty because it was kind of a flat roof on her home, and it was supposed to snow again, and so we were able within a matter of a day to get people out to get the snow off her roof and keep her safe. So we occasionally do things like that. Most of the time it requires some sort of a site survey where we go and we actually look at the job. We're all volunteers. Nobody in our organization gets paid. So it may take several days or a week or sometimes more for someone to get out to a home to investigate and to see exactly what's going on. So we try to do things as quickly as we can, and we've worked at kind of a lot at that aspect of our organization this past year to shorten the time between the application for help and the actual completion.
Now, if somebody were to call Neighbors Helping Neighbors and ask you to come out and look at a door that was broken, and you did a site survey, would you look at other things that they may not be requesting?
Yes, yeah. That's like what I was saying earlier about the walls needing painting. I like that example because, you know, we do look for, let's say, the root cause of situations, but also when we walk in the house, we always go in teams of two, and one person is, you know, addressing the immediate need and the structural issues, but we also look to make sure the family is okay, you know, and the social aspect of that. And it's not that we provide social services, but we partner and refer, you know, needs that we may stumble on. So we go in wide, you know, eyes wide open, and we really don't ever like to turn anyone away. So even if the need is beyond our mission or beyond our capability, we try to find a place to send people for help. And, you know, that's
I know that's
what
one
we
of
do.
the things that I'm always trying to do as a realtor is what's the problem that you have and how can we solve it? And I know that there's tremendous organizations out there. Now, earlier you had said that Neighbors Helping Neighbors came out of
Originally, yes.
originally
A Faith in Action group.
Was
Yeah.
that the Ocean State Work Camp that St. Andrews did?
Yes, and even before the work camp, there was a smaller group of Faith in Action, and as part of their commitment in the church, usually every spring and every fall, they would look in the immediate area. Oftentimes it was in the church membership, like who has needs, and then, you know, getting volunteers. And what's very nice is we try to be family oriented in the sense that we'll have kids with parents doing things that, you know, they can do, clean up, you know. So there's benefit even to our volunteers. And
So it truly feels like neighbors are actually helping their neighbors, whether it's somebody that lives next door or somebody that may live 10 miles away.
yes,
They still have that feeling.
but what we soon realized is the need was so great, meaning this needed to be a 7-day-a-week kind of thing, not let's wait for fall and help a
Yeah.
few people on one Saturday. We now get calls daily, or we can, the potential is there to get calls daily, and we immediately try to schedule the site surveys, and we are limited. As Greg said, we're all volunteers, so we're limited for having the volunteers available, and also resources. Like when it comes time to do the job, you know, we have to buy the building materials, and, you know, we've been fortunate so far that donations roll in kind of throughout the year, and we've had some very kind, generous donors, and, you know, none of us, you know, earns any salary here, even our administrative support. I mean, it's all us, and sometimes we're limited in speed because of that.
If somebody were to want to volunteer or donate to the organization, what opportunities are there for them?
Well, I'll put in a little reference here to our website, nhnri.org. We actually have a donate button, and we have forms for volunteer opportunities. So if you go on our website, you can fill out a form and say, here's what I'd love to do. Because we're all volunteers, we want people to do something they really care about doing. This isn't like a work assignment, you know, so if you go on our website, it's pretty clear, you know, if you'd like to make a donation or call for help. You know, the application for need is on the website as well.
One of the things, my past experience working with Habitat and also with the Ocean State work camps, I found that very often this was a learning experience for the volunteers. They got to come out, somebody who has never done any roofing or fixed a window or
Yes.
replaced something in a house suddenly gets an opportunity to do that, and they get to learn, and you see that growth. And I've always loved that about, that was one of the things that I loved about Habitat and being a supervisor, a building supervisor with them years ago, was seeing that growth for people. So I think that whether you're an experienced handyman like myself or somebody who just doesn't know how to do it but wants to learn, this is an opportunity for people to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We have been using, or not using, working closely with University of Rhode Island, URI, and such great students that come forward that want to help. And, you know, there was a recent shingling job, and one of the kids said, "I'll never look at a house with shingles the same way again." And, you know, actually learned how to do it and felt really empowered that,
Yes.
you know,
I
learned the skill.
I often, when I was building with Habitat, had URI students there, and they were always great. They were just willing to do anything, and they're a real benefit. It's one of the great benefits to the organizations around here to have the URI students that are looking to be involved. Now, is there an age limit? You did say that it's families, so is somebody who has maybe an 8 or a 10-year-old, would they be able to go out?
If they come with their parents and they have adult supervision with them, yes, they can come out. And, you know, some of the jobs that we do, if you have too many people, they're kind of in the way. But there are other jobs when we can use, like the shingling job, we can use 15 or 20 people at a time. And so it really varies by a job. But we do have families that sign up for some painting things, or you know, even kids work on cleanup or help in whatever way. But yes, we do have kids coming.
So Greg, I wanted to ask you, and then I'm going to go over to you. So what do you think has been the biggest benefit for you as being a part of Neighbors Helping Neighbors?
Well, I don't really think about it as myself benefiting, but I guess I really do. From the point of view, I'm still using skills I used when I worked. A lot of my jobs had to do with organizational things and putting things together and following through, and to see that projects got done. So while I'm not actually hammering nails or painting walls, I'm still busy doing the things that I did. And the nice thing that I like about it is that my time is my own, so I can spend all day today doing it, or I can spend an hour today doing it. And usually the kind of things that we do, or that we have to do on the organizational side, can be done gradually over a period of time. So it fits in perfectly for me with what I'm trying to do for myself.
Great.
Yeah.
Sue, could you answer the same question?
It's very similar. I retired a little bit sooner than I had planned, and I also had that feeling of I want to give something back, you know, and you want to still have purpose in your life. So when you think of it selfishly, like what's in it for me, it does feel good when somebody says you made a difference, you know, when you see people go from panicky, scared, depressed, to seeing something nice in their home. There is just such a satisfaction that comes with that. And as Greg said, like I could be on the beach and I could be reading emails on my phone, and then, you know, you can give as much time as you have, and then you can take a break when you need to, because, you know, sometimes you need to say, you know, my family, we're going away, and, you know, we are all volunteers.
Right.
So it's just...
And I volunteered with Neighbors Helping Neighbors a few times over the last 7 years or so, and they call and, can you do it? And if I can, I do, and if I can't, I don't. And, you know, I run a business and have a family and a wife who likes her house fixed up too.
Yes, exactly. And you know, some people, and I understand this because I'm the same way, you're afraid to commit because you're like, well, I can't sign on for this, you know. But we're happy if people want to just try doing one project, come with us one time. And we find that so many people enjoyed it so much that they'll say, when's the next one? And I can't put into words what that is, but there is, seeing the community come together, and it's now beyond, the original church group. It's now the community. We are working with fire and police departments, as we said, URI. We had a great project where the Narragansett Lions Club donated money. We had a matching donor that matched the amount. We had the kids from Habitat and URI and the church group folks, and other churches are now participating. So that's really what the vision was, is to get the community to pitch in together, and many hands make for the lighter load, right?
I absolutely agree. And I think that's one of the great things about Neighbors Helping Neighbors, is that the other organizations are not necessarily doing anything close to what you're doing, and that they can participate in this. I'm a member of the Westerly Lions, so when I hear Lions, my heart thumps and goes proud to be a part of that, and I'm glad that Narragansett was helping with Neighbors Helping Neighbors.
Yeah, there was a home in Narragansett
that needed something, and that just brings out, and it gives opportunities to other groups to participate. But the need is out there. I, as a realtor, and I worked on a lot of bank-owned properties, I saw a lot of people in trouble for a long time. Yeah. And fortunately, I'm not cold, but I'm contained, and I could deal with it. But by being able to do that, I was able to help them most times. But the houses sometimes were in terrible condition, and they saw no hope for it. And I think you guys truly give hope to people. So thank you very much for that. I do have one more question, and that is, because I'm a real estate agent and I have heard pretty much every horror story out there, and since we're talking about fixing houses, I went into a house one time that had water flowing from the 3rd floor to the 1st floor, and it was completely black mold inside. You're not going to deal with that. But I really get tired of the horror stories. So I would love to hear a funny or fun story about real estate or houses that you might have. Either one.
I can think of one. This story always comes to mind for me. We had a group of people out on a job, and I can't remember exactly what the purpose of the job was, but it was something like doing some painting over an area that had been damaged, or something that we repaired. And the day that they were there were some kids there with a teacher from Charahoe. And the day that they were there, they noticed that there was a pile of dishes in the sink, in the kitchen sink. So the kids said, well, look, the homeowner had to go out someplace. The kids said, well, why don't we just go in and clean up the dishes? So they went in to clean up the dishes and realized that the faucet didn't work because it leaked so badly, it wasn't working. So one of the kids left, went to the store, bought a faucet, came back, installed the faucet. The kids cleaned up the dishes. When the homeowner came home, not only was the painting job done, but the kitchen was repaired and the dishes were washed.
That's great. That's when people just, that's a great story. Yeah. Well, thank you both so much. Sue, it's been a pleasure. Greg, I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Thank you again for watching Westerly Waves. I would like you to stick around for another couple of minutes or so, where I'm going to post all the information about Neighbors Helping Neighbors. So if you'd like to volunteer, donate, or become involved with them at all, there is plenty of need for the help, and they would definitely appreciate it, and so would I. Thank you again.